Okay, hello, we're live. Welcome, Trevin.
Hey,
Trevin, I met 2 days ago, I guess, on X
yeah,
and pull
yeah,
request. He started doing pull requests on the compound engineering plugin, and there are lots of people that do pull requests, but like his were just he was just reading my mind. He just added pull request where I was like, oh yeah, I that's in my mind. I needed to do that already. I was like, okay, great. This is just he's just doing the work I already wanted to do and just pushed forward and never did. So thank you, Trevin, for doing that. That's amazing. And yesterday we talked with Tariq, who alluded to a new task management system inside Claude, which has been dropped now, and it has implications.
for sure, for
and
sure.
and I would love to just like talk with you and like hear your thoughts on what that means, how we can put it into compound engineering as well. Uh, so yeah, like let's just jam a little bit. I haven't tried out the task management system either, so we can just try that out as well. But yeah, like it has lots of cool, interesting parts, and I'm just figuring out what does it mean. Like,
Yeah,
what do you think?
it,
What is
it
in your
it's
head?
it's interesting. I mean, yeah, like I think one, thanks for having me. It's fun to jam on stuff. It's funny how you can just meet people serendipitously and kind of have a mind meld, and so it makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, I mean, like we've all centered around so far. I think like this whole write in text, write in Markdown, keep
Mm-hmm.
everyone has converged onto like some base level of like a Markdown task list, and then Claude's really great if even without you even telling it
Mm-hmm.
it just knows to go back and touch it and update it. And then, obviously Beads is taking the world by storm here. And I played with it, but like you, I've gone back and forth. Like I think I've installed it and uninstalled it like a dozen times because it's doing too much. Like all of
Mm-hmm.
the Git hooks and things like that, like it just is too much. And then, so then I've started experimenting with the Beads Rust port that someone did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A little
That
bit
is
lighter weight.
it's
Yeah.
lighter, but
Yeah.
I quickly then realized, oh, wait a minute, I have to manage all the beads database syncing. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, now
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck. Do I want the syncing or do I not? So then I kind of abandoned all of it actually and kind of stuck with the tried and true thing of like markdown files and things. And so then I started really diving into the compound engineering stuff and kind of thinking through like even I saw your PR for compound writing, which kind of read my mind too. So because I've been thinking about compound planning, and the
Mm-hmm.
planning is like
Yeah.
the superset of writing, right? Where it's just
Mm-hmm.
like from a product side, it's hey, I'm brainstorming the feature, which is why I contributed the brainstorm
Yeah.
workflow recently, and I've been having a lot of great success at that. But the issue is like how do you compound and iterate on this thing, which
Yeah.
involves a lot of tasks. So you have a lot of interesting agents like the DHH agent and all that stuff. I think is really slick. It's obviously, I think, given your background, it's really like technical oriented.
Yeah.
Mine was from like a product side where I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, so now because now I proposed an open PR I have on the repo a document review like iterative loop, and I was playing with this last night and had some really great luck with it basically reviewing its own brainstorm plan and then basically automatically doing corrections and then going into a Q&A with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had to go to success with that, but the problem is then you have tasks that come out of that. And what do you
Yeah.
do? So what I found it was doing, it was spending so much time and tokens updating markdown documents. I'd see it, it would say, it would wait 3 seconds and say, okay, cool, I've gone back and updated the task. But then it was even going into the plan and documents markdowns that were originally created to update it as it was going. And that feels like wasteful because
Mm-hmm.
the brainstorm doesn't need to be the ledger of its work. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
brainstorm to seed a plan, and the plan's like a
Mm-hmm.
snapshot in time. So then that whole thing dropped, and Tarek's post went up, and Boris shared it. I was like, oh man, and I sent you that note yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like it feels like, so then I immediately got into, okay, so it should be more specific actually, and or maybe less specific, and just let Claude cook and do its
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
But then I started diving into it thinking like there's no instruction for how do tasks get grouped and labeled. It's just in your home directory in the Claude folder, which in one way is very powerful because then you have multiple agents that are picking from this.
Yeah.
But then you
Mm-hmm.
start thinking about normal things like organization, priority, dependencies, like all the stuff that Beads is tackling, and all things I think that we think of as humans, but the machines need to reason over it. So then they don't have any guidance yet on how to interact with the task and how to do it. It feels like they're inevitably going to get to, which essentially like Anthropic eating the world here, which is like they're going to build project management and dependency tracking and essentially like a version of, you know, Beads in itself. So my neurons are all firing about this. So that's where my mind has gone, you know, like recently, like literally last night and this morning.
Yeah.
How can we reduce, instead of telling it how to track the tasks and mark the task, it's really just state the tasks. And even, do we even have to tell it dependencies, because it's figuring out the dependencies, especially during the planning phase. So if it can derive all that, it needs to keep its ledger. We kind of trust Skynet is going to do its thing. We then focus on like the compounding part is different. It's like the value in the compounding loop isn't about task tracking and dependency management. It's really thinking using judgment, taste, and like the scaffolding above that. So that's where I've been obsessed recently, which is why I sent you that note about compound planning, which I think is like a whole other, like maybe it's time for compound engineering to split really into two different plugins, because you're now dangerously mixing, like so like even your compound writing, it's not about the engineering part. I think it can be used, but now you have maybe three different plugins.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so,
that's my.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yesterday we also had Ryan Carson on, and he's basically doing like a compound product.
I saw that.
Like,
Yeah.
So like I was like, yeah, I agree, and I feel this as well. Like compound engineering, like everything works so well now that we can go more out in both ends. So we can like do more planning or more like product marketing or stuff after. And I agree. And at the same time, I'm also thinking like, how does it all work? Because like these are all really cool thoughts, but like how would I use it? Like how can we make it practical? How will help me ship features to Quora quicker? And so like this all resonates a lot. Like let me give my take. What I was thinking, like with this coming out, I was thinking that context management, like I feel a lot of pain in context management, like where people say, oh, it's using too much tokens or it's compacting too much, and and things are lost, like lessons learned are lost within the massive amount of context. So you cannot compound like how do you compound? Where are the artifacts? And that was always a little bit hard, but maybe with a task management system we can actually have like compounding steps after tasks, or we can have handoff from like a planning phase, creating tasks, and then the work like phase has more context or like better understanding of what happened in the phase before. And if we have this plugin that is good at planning, for example, like how do you, like currently it's a markdown file, which is a plan, but like is that the best form? Like I still think it's good, but maybe the tasks are also there and it's referencing the task. So I'm just curious how we do that, because I feel like tasks are kind of like sub-agents in a way, since what they share is it has their own context. That's at least how I understand it a little bit, where like you can pass information or context around. So have you tried the task management system already?
I have.
You want to share your screen and see, just show how it works? Because
I don't have a great I don't have a great example right now.
Me neither. But like, should we?
Well,
try?
I don't have I got some stuff on my screen I can't really share right now, so it's a little bit tricky. I'm kind of hopping in, so I'll talk about it verbally. This idea.
I'll try to do it on my my screen then.
You stumble into it really quickly actually, because it automatically did it for me this morning when I was working on something. It just literally said I'm writing out tasks. I was like, oh, this is interesting, and the way it worked. I think that your point about context is really important. I think this contextual intelligence is the next frontier. I think as engineers, like when I see kind of the way you think about through the repo, I think it's natural for a lot of engineers to think everything should be in Markdown. How do we, create an artifact and a summary of this thing? I think in general, that's at odds with, I think, how reality works. I think there's context in so many places. And I think maybe when you're working on Quora and other things, there's so few people. But I think the reality is context is messy and shared across Notion, like in a much larger company that's like, quote unquote real, but it's not, you guys aren't real, but like big. You have Slack, you have
I'm one person, which is very different, or like with two on Quora, but
totally,
it's very
totally
different. Yeah.
Totally. So imagine, I think context in like say even 10 people, it's Notion, it's Google Docs, it's Slack a lot of the time. And how many times have you been in a Slack conversation where they talk about, hey, let's take this out of a thread because this information is going to get lost. So the reality is that doesn't work. Like humans work through different modalities. So I think this idea that you're talking about, this contextual intelligence, is really important. I think there's this rise of these systems that are about, instead of forcing everything to create an artifact that the machine reads, how do we create a system in which the machine can query for context? Like one of the products I've been using recently is called Unblocked. It's getunblocked.com. I sent it to you. It is a pretty game-changing product. Like you connect basically all your sources of institutional knowledge. It connects your repo, Slack, everything. And it offers an MCP as well as desktop apps and a Slack bot. So it's just a really interesting thing because the way I have it wired up is I have a skill that basically when I have a question, it can invoke it. And one of the things it does is it does the learning analyst from the thing that I contributed to the compound engineering, but it also asks for the unblocked MCP. So it actually tries to combine it and it actually get information back. So
it's like context 7, but then for your internal.
For your internal. So imagine even, because you know how you have the every subscriber Discord. I imagine it was like there's a raging conversation about a very specific bug or something like that. If this contextual engine could pull that knowledge from there, it could actually just reference that and it wouldn't be lost. So I think I'm currently obsessed with that idea as well. Not only this compound planning, but the idea of contextual organizational intelligence. Like how are we making the machine smarter instead of trying to do so much work to give it the context that it needs? And so I think there's a lot of people building this stuff, but I think it's much harder than people realize, which is why I go to like the companies like Unblocked. I think they're working on such an interesting product that I think people trivialize that is hard. And then everyone else, the rest of us, can then focus on like actually building the product that we're actually trying to build instead of trying to build the scaffolding like around it. So then I think that then relates to tasks as well, because then the dangerous part is I think we could then think about, we should create use task management as contextual intelligence. And I think that's where it gets very bad, because I think you're then mixing two things that shouldn't be the same.
Yeah. So I'm figuring out how. So yeah, I agree on those things, and it's kind of interesting because I feel these less because it's just a smaller team, and it's very real if you're bigger. But it's about gathering the right information, linking things together. But I think, so tasks are, so it's inspired by Beats. And what I like about Beats is that it persists across sessions. Like that's just a strength. So you can have different Claude instances do different things. So for example, with Beats, a pattern I like is having different Claudes running next to each other, where one is just I talk with. I say, you're like the planner, where I say, hey, I want to do this and this and this. And one is the worker that picks up tasks and works on it. And then the third is the tester that runs and tests, runs the browser and sees if it works. So it's like that is now natively possible, I assume, which is kind of cool. And so, okay, so...
that cross-agent thing, I think is initially the most powerful thing, because now all of a sudden, how many times have you been in a Claude session where you're like, oh, there's that thing that has to get done, but it's a completely different task. What do you do? And so the fact that there's now a task ledger that's kept outside of that session, I think is very powerful. And I think what we probably will see is a lot of skill and tooling, and then ultimately Claude will just do this, is knowing when to file an issue that's completely going to be tackled in an independent thing. And at some point, it should just ask you and know, oh, this is a really small task. I'll just go do that for you.
Yeah, it
Create the
kicks off a
PR.
sub agent or does something. Yeah. So
Right.
let's see if we can get that to work here. So just for me to learn how this even works. So it says it has task create task. So this is like, I know Tarek, he wrote a beautiful post, but I don't read. I just ask AI to do things. So you can see they're like, it's also a little bit confusing because task is still a sub agent, I guess.
Right.
And the task create list and update are session level progress tracking, which I'm curious what session level is that in this thing, because I thought it was shared, and this is my own. So
That's an interesting
yeah.
that's an interesting description of a task, that it's a verb versus a noun here.
Yeah.
Because I think when someone says create a task, the way this is, it's like a spot. This is actually going to go do the thing. So it just terminology wise, it throws me a little bit.
Yeah, but this is old. Like this is like sub agents were renamed tasks at some point, and I don't know if that's still the case or not. Maybe that's in my own prompting that I do this. But let's see. Let's see if I can create a task. Okay, let's see. Create a task, a new task, and say review the landing page. See if we have all the metadata set correctly. Let's just do some random thing. So what I want to see is create and see how I can. Okay, so task 1 created, review the landing page. Do I have any open tasks? Okay, so it says something. So on the right one,
Yeah.
I ask, do I have no task found? Okay, so there's no sharing, which is interesting.
I wonder if you have any of your skills or agents that is influencing this behavior of where to look. Do you have anything in the comment engineering stuff that is specifying a to-dos folder, or not at all?
There's a to-do skill. That's about it. But yeah.
What
so
if you
yeah.
disabled that skill and then reloaded a new session and did the same thing? This is what I'm kind of getting at, because I've realized that I've had to delete a bunch of skills and commands that I've had accumulate, not realizing it's influencing behavior.
Oh, sorry. I will do that, but I think, I just want to understand this first. I think it is in session. So Control T to hide task. So you can see tasks like this, which is cool.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if you restart the session just as is it reloading it and managing it by session?
So like resume, you mean? Or
Right.
continue?
I wonder if you did a continue on that and asked it, what are the tasks? Like,
Yeah. So no, it forgot it.
that might be the background task, but what about asking it, does it have tasks? Like, this is where their problem of terminology now all of a sudden.
But it said to run this, right? Or
yeah. Oh wait. Are there? Oh, this is.
I mean, these are mine.
Oh,
so
that's
I know
funny.
these are not okay. So okay, let's see.
What about in your Claude folder in your home directory? That's where they're supposed to be saved.
Okay, let's see if we can find this. See, we're experts here. You're seeing it. Yeah. So maybe what I should just do is put in the documentation or something. It's Claude code tasks announcement or something. Here, I'll do it agent. Can you look for the documentation on tasks in the Anthropic docs so we know how it works? We have no idea. So one thing so I've thought about adding beats to compound engineering, but also I don't want to add any dependencies. So that's
It's
just
tough.
my
It's tough. I've
yeah
gone like literally I one day I'll go all in on it. I say, "Oh, I got to add this to the repo." And then I say, "What have I done?" And I rip it all back out because
yeah
for the same reason, but I also think it's the friction of there's just too much going on that is relying on Git hooks and automatic
mm,
stuff that I've had so much chaos happen that I have shied away from it.
yeah. Okay. Oh, so, people are actually saying what to do. Check Claude tasks. Let's go. There we go. I have not checked that, so let's go. Oh, is it in the session? Oh, it's weird. So it's not in there.
Interesting. Is it in your home directory? I thought that's what they said.
Yeah, okay, let's see. Okay, there is something here. Okay, there is something here. Let's use cursor. There we go. Okay, so this is the session,
Perfect.
I guess.
Yeah, this is probably session ID. I think storing it in your home directory is the only reasonable way because if they really want to go cross agent,
Yeah.
they can't assume it's in the same repo or whatever. I would assume that it would eventually support hierarchy as well. Like it almost has to, I think.
Yeah, but it's weird that it's not showing here. So
That's why part of me is like, if you, I wonder if
okay,
it's
let's
a
see. Resume.
nomenclature problem.
Oh, oh, I resumed to. I think I resumed my right session. Okay, I'm a dumbass probably. So now this is it. Probably it's here. No.
So this is the challenge. You're doing this tasking. It's literally that this is the background task. So when you ask for tasks, it's almost confused at what you're asking it about.
Okay, list my tasks.
Oh, there it is. See
okay,
it?
it's there. Whew, okay, boom. We got it. Yeah, and so we can also Claude Code task list ID you can set to 1 and start. Okay, so there's an environment variable where you can also do that, which is cool. Okay, so it does persist. It doesn't persist across sessions.
Yeah, you can set an environment variable. Like they have an environment variable that's like you can specify the ID. But the problem is that's like during the invocation and the terms, like that's not natural.
Yeah. Globally. So can we set it globally? Because it says in session, it will be cool to do it globally as well. And yes, I'm saying be dus. I'm sorry. I have a thick Dutch accent, so my D and T it's all the same, you know. Okay, so it is global, but it's scoped. Okay, so I'm confused still. So if I have the to-dos added, it adds the thread ID or not? Or if I open any other Claude code, does it read all the to-dos in my home directory? But one thing I know I can remove in compound engineering is my skill to do.
Right.
And so there's a to-do skill, to-do. It's not used a lot, but it's used mostly, or the only place it's used is when you run the review and it gathers all the information and it just uses this. So I'm going to delete this and start using that. But the issue now also, which is really fun, is I recently, 2 days ago, also added support for open code and codecs.
Okay.
And obviously they don't have this. So
yeah, you might need instead of deleting it, you
Yeah.
might actually give a specific instruction
Yeah.
instead and saying,
Hmm.
if you're this, do this, otherwise,
Yeah.
use the skill as is.
And also, like, I already do that. For example, with Codex, Codex doesn't support invoking slash commands programmatically. So I
Right.
just moved all my slash commands to be skills inside Codex, which is either way what is already being done internally, kind of with Claude Code. We talked about it to do it for Claude Code as well. So we can change this conversion because there's a script that like converts it to a specific format here somewhere, converters. So I can say maybe don't include this skill for here and or inject this skill for. I mean, I have not reviewed this, but it
Yeah,
works.
yeah, yeah.
So we can do different conversions as well. Um,
Like the friction that they're running up of, I mean, this feels so natural that they did this. Not because of bees. I think bees almost is because it's relevant in the conversation, but like
yeah,
it's natural because as we've scaled up, you have all these agents. But even if you don't say they're autonomous, like the person you spoke to yesterday, it was
yeah,
like very different. Like I laughed at the time where he said maybe you weren't working on big enough features or whatever.
yeah,
That was a funny part. But I think his turn of the crank is like really different than I think
yeah.
where most are doing it, where they're, they have multiple session open. There is some autonomy going on, but they're not trying to necessarily do it fully autonomous. I don't think most of us are there yet or really want that. But I
Hmm.
think it's interesting. But I think where we're at when you have multiple tabs open with multiple sets of work that you are queuing work essentially in your mind, it's
Yeah,
really how do you get this out? And so
yeah,
it's essentially another version of multi-agent orchestration through
hmm,
tasks. And so
yeah.
it feels so inevitable that they got here. But I
But
think
how
where
does it
we're,
work? Because
yeah, totally.
I cannot really load it now because these are two different sessions and
And it's not seeing it. So the task thing again, I think that this slash task is tied incorrectly to the notion of background tasks that it natively has had historically. So I wonder if you said something like, what are my task lists or something like that? Can you read all
yeah.
of that?
What was
It
the
still didn't find it.
so it has what was
But
the
it is still being
task
influenced here
list?
by looking in your, it says no Claude code.
I already ran tasks. There are no tasks in the current task
um,
list.
what about in any conversation? I wonder if it's
Yeah.
scoping it
Okay.
automatically.
Because this will be very cool if you can have an orchestrator agent running and just have different things, like put
So
things
see this, it doesn't
somewhere.
even know, it's not even referencing. What if you asked it about your home directory?
Can you just look in my home directory in home.claude/todos? It should be there.
Okay, so it found it. Good.
The
Okay.
beauty of grep and bash. Um, can you look in your what? I mean, this is a lot, but pending. Oh, these are from previous Claude sessions. Wow. Okay. Oh, interesting. What did I? It's more than this. Okay, just let me just see if we do
Oh,
this
you know what?
path.
It says it's stored in not to-dos, it's stored in tasks in your home
Oh,
directory.
sorry, tasks. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, here. Check there. It's funny how confusing all the names are, and it's also like names in the app versus the programmatic way. Okay, there.
Right.
Okay, found it. Okay, there we go. Okay, can you reverse engineer, look at the source code of Claude Code, and understand why we're not loading every task, just the ones in the session? And can you see in the source code of Claude Code as well if there is a way, if we can load all the tasks from here? So we can access it. We just have to brute force it to read the files, and most likely it
Right.
has understanding. So like worst case, we can read it
My guess, my
across. Yeah.
prediction here is that like most people are going to have their own version of a task or to-do list, and they're going to need to like not only unlearn it, but also remove all of the
Yeah.
tentacles that they've built
Yeah.
into all their skills and
Everywhere.
agents.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I still have like to do the to do add to do or like to do list or tool calls
Right.
inside compound engineering, even though they removed it I think a while ago already. Okay, let's see if it can reverse engineer and explain why they did this. This is always fun because I think for like really what this makes this powerful. Yeah, I'm curious. Now it's just a to-do list, but also like does it do how is it picked up as well? Like that's also an interesting. Okay, maybe on the left. Can you also pull in the documentation about the new task update, task create, task list? Also look at the source code maybe to see what it can do. Is there anything more and beyond just storing files and doing things? Okay, let's see. Someone says also to do Control T. I don't think that does anything for me. Thinking mode, no. Okay, let's see what comes out of this. But worst case, it's just a better to-do system that is file based, which is just more clear.
Right. I mean, I think they had said as well that it is early and they're feeling that would make sense. I think it is going to be just replacing our markdown like checkboxes with this makes sense. I think the next step has got to be about project management and how they manage contention over tasks. Like you take a task, how do you follow dependencies? How do you not start a task before
I think that's built in. I think there's some dependency tracking.
I didn't see it actually. So actually, if you look at the task that was created in your folder there, I didn't see any metadata around it. Does it?
Here,
Oh,
box.
it did.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I think
when I did this, actually, I didn't have those fields. Actually, I only had status. So I missed this.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that there is the dependency. I think Thurik said yesterday that was in there, which is cool. And
I wonder how it does cross project dependencies, cross conversation.
Yeah, like it should be able to do that, I assume.
You hope.
And so, okay, so a higher level is the plan, and there is a plans directory actually. If you go into planning mode, it's also in the home directory. I have thought about moving compound engineering planning to the same location, but I also like to have it bundled with my code that I ship.
I do too. I do think there's value of that as an artifact. I don't know if, well, it's funny because then you suddenly get into multi-team project management. You can't store this in your home directory, the task list.
Exactly. Yeah, it has to live somewhere. Yeah.
Which then you get all the way back to the beads problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But for smaller projects and things like that, where there's fewer people, the home directory is the logical first step because you definitely got to support cross session.
Yeah, and it's also, you can kick off more research without work trees and all of that stuff. Like it's just like work trees are always a little bit like it works once in a while, but it's always confusing. To me even you always forget that you're in a work tree and like this and that and like where am I and it's just more to track. So I like that part, and I also like that you can reference it immediately from any other branch, because if you check like you have that available if you go somewhere else because it's just there. But I don't like that it's not. Okay, so here we got actually something back. Oh, here. You can set Claude Code task list to use shared task list. I'm sure someone said this already or not.
But the
Global.
issue, well, here's the problem though. So I've seen this before. The
Yeah.
problem with this is that if you set it to global, it feels like
Oh,
it's now just a
yeah.
global ID. How is there's
Yeah.
no there's no
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
subcategorization.
This is a hack. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, this is just setting an ID and hacking it, and then I get it. Yeah, this is not great.
I mean, everything that
yeah.
we've learned about Linear or Jira
Yeah.
in the past still applies here, which is the complexity of the taxonomy of organization of all these
Yeah.
workspaces and tasks. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of how where are they going to choose to store it and how will they store the metadata.
Yeah. 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 But this is interesting. I now kind of understand, but also we can just hack it and say just go look for other tasks somewhere in this directory and pick them up. And I'm probably it knows how to change it as well. So let's see. Let's actually I have to go in a little bit, but let's do this. Let's say so look at there. Can you pick up the open task, spawn a sub agent, and change the status and everything like you know how to do? Like, let's see if it can do it the unofficial way as well. Because this was, so on the right side, this was not the session where this was created. On the left, it was created. So it shouldn't know about this through the official tool calls. But we're just going to see if it can be forced.
It's doing interesting. It's not using any of its built-in tooling for any of this. So that scares me into, like, it's unclear whether or not it actually is doing it in a smart way or just inferring it that it's a JSON file and at your own custom task list.
Yeah. Probably. But then we can just reverse engineer what these tools do and add that as a skill, and then we have that, and then we wait until Anthropic makes it.
Yeah, I'm curious to how quick it is for someone, how quickly we will see people creating skills to basically augment the metadata and kind of work around it and then see.
I think that's the first thing we'll do probably for compound engineering to create a better, like a little bit more
what you could do is actually create your own attributes and prefix them in a namespace. You know what I mean? Nice. Like have compound engineering and sub attributes, and then presumably they will never write compound engineering attribute.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I had that where before /plan was compound engineering plan, but then /plan was introduced and that didn't work anymore. So I learned that, where I got bug reports of it not working, but then I was like, that's not the code. Okay, so it's doing things. Found pending task.
It's doing a lot for. Let's see this.
I was saying, can you check the metadata in my homepage? Okay, so let's see. There's something here on the left as well. Teammate tool. Wow. Okay, teammate tool integration. Wow. Okay, there's actually. Let's go over this, and let's call it a stream if that's okay to you as well.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, so we ask to look at the code, come up with something. So task create, task update, task list, and task get. I know someone said task delete doesn't exist, which is kind of interesting. Because that is what I do with task as well. If you find something in a review that you don't want to do, I just delete it. I don't want to see it because it's just not helpful, but I guess you can just say you're not doing it or just change the status or something. Okay, so it's pending in progress is the status workflow. Clearly not doing that here. It's still pending. So if that is the case, we need to just create a skill that has like a new skill
that will really pay attention.
Will follow all these workflows and actually do the same things with these tools, but then kind of hacky in the file system, but pending in progress complete. I think that's good because, or actually I miss one workflow state here, because I sometimes have AI come up with tasks, and sometimes I want to approve whether those
Totally.
tasks are good.
Totally. It's almost like, is it ready to
Yeah,
begin?
like
Whereas
is
like,
yeah. So I have the pending and then ready.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
okay, this is good to go. So I would love a ready
Yeah, it's
here as
almost like
well.
pending. I agree with you. Pending is actually interesting. It almost like in the parlance of most project management software, it's like backlog versus ready
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Is this inbox like do we
Hmm.
need to do stuff, or is this ready to go? It's just yeah. So I do miss a step there.
There's also even a block status that they should have because literally it could be blocked
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah,
something catastrophic or something like that.
yeah, yeah. And if
Um,
it's blocked by something else that is not completed, maybe it's blocked. But that's also like then suddenly you have side effects with status and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree as well. So active form. Present continuous text shown in spinner. Running test. Okay, this is just how it should do it. Dependency system. Okay, so it says run migration blocked by number 1. Okay, so blocked
okay,
by, and it references the IDs. Okay, so it does reference the ID
but
of the task
only within the
within the
project.
thread.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's within the thread, and like, yeah.
There probably will. The easiest way to evolve that is to have a prefix where it's like the project ID
Yeah.
colon whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so team tool, teammate tool integration. I don't even know what it
That's
is.
interesting. Multi-agent.
Spawn agent assigned to
Oh, it's
provide
doing communication here, essentially.
multi-agent swarms. Holy moly, that sounds great. Is this actually in this code? That would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Or is it? Yeah,
Okay.
if it is, I mean, that's funny.
So create a team, auto create task list, create task, create spawn teammate agents.
Is this made up? You should. I wonder if it's hallucinated this because it sounds.
It sounds amazing. I want this, but teams. So in Claude you can have teams.
Is this true?
Wow. Holy moly. Is this true? Do teams exist? This sounds amazing. Can you check the source code? Is this real?
It starts to.
I mean,
If this
I
exists,
always
it's interesting.
use this.
You have coordination problems though suddenly where you're like you almost have now the idea of parent tasks and child tasks because not every task is equal. Like we start to again get into all the project management stuff. This could
Yeah,
be
but if you have a good
slick.
plugin like compound planning or compound engineering, compound writing,
True,
compound design, you're
Yeah.
fine. If you do the loops like Ryan was showing yesterday. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if this is not in Tharek, probably this is nice. A native swarm support. Well, if this is in secret, okay.
Look at that.
Oh, okay, okay, sorry. But we got too excited. I was already surprised that that was in. That sounded way too far out there. But
Oh, totally.
it is interesting to see. No, there. Okay, this is not there.
I mean, we should basically the next step is spin up a instance and have it write it and send it to Todd
Yeah, okay.
about this is the next thing you should do.
Yeah, okay. Let's do. Okay, it is interesting. So let's actually do this the proper way. Plan. Ultra thing. I'll do the dependence one. This is very interesting though, the agents. So can you make a plan of how this could look like, and we can send it over to our friends. And I'll just post this. Cool. Okay. I'm grabbing lunch. I'm going to later today fly to Panama to meet all my lovely colleagues.
Oh, they're in Panama.
We're all flying to Panama next week to jam.
Nice.
So we'll do
Nice.
more live streams and things. But yeah, like
Cool.
Thanks so much, Trevin.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and keep just pushing things to compound engineering. if anyone else has ideas, just create a pull request, and yeah, we'll make
Awesome.
this better.
Thanks, Kieran.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. All right,
Okay,
peace.
have a good one. See you, everyone.